want to tell you about the light that comes through train windows, but a poet knows our language negligent in the verse of very light. It makes altars of tables. It hotwires the romantic Victorian gardens of our consciousness. It splays across faces just so I can see freckles hint at surfacing. I want to tell you about movement and the incessant clacking of a mind on the tracks, the repetition of trees, of pine, of birch, and then of lake and sunset, of bridge and the distance of bridge carrying me across the expanses of pine, birch, lakes, sunsets, red, red, golden, broken, red. I want to tell you about the people I meet on trains. They want to talk about where they are going. I want to know where they have been, why they are running. Maybe I can learn why I am running, why I cannot stop running, but they tell me about loss, that universal cunt. They give me a reason to sprint. There is so much grief. Grief like choking on brown water, grief like inhaling a swarm of bees, grief like shedding skin with each step. How can we move toward anything we know will die? But we do. We run to these dying loves, pretend our journey has just begun. The man at dinner tonight lost 53 years of love. The man at dinner tonight cried, and I cried with him. The man tonight waited until dinner to thank someone for letting him talk. There is utter loss in every fold of this planet. I give you no consolation. I only give you terrible advice. Stay in transit, dear reader, stay moving so the plucked black feather of this fractured place may never scratch you.
Woo! Greetings, friends, and welcome to Governor's Island and the 8th annual New York City Poetry Festival. Just walking down to partake in today's festivities. Check out the video. I hope you like what you hear and see. Peace.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You try to leave, as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. Trouble. I have a chill in my womb. I have a child in my wound. Everything is masked up. The sea doesn't blow. The wind rivers the sea in the wrong direction. How will I get along with this man wolfing me? How will I get alone? He heard me. It never bordered me before, what I got as a regard. We used the hardest language. We cast threats. Will born in hell. Some of us fall by the wayside, and some of us soar to the stars.
Epiphany. My mother says the first time I moved inside her felt like butterflies, but I don't feel that light, that graceful flutter when I move. It's more like bees whirring themselves from flower to flower, that summer of low-flying planes. After the winter, all our parents died at once, and I made nothing but short films of my cat, so I can remember her freakishly long tongue, or the way she sounds just like a bird when you take her by surprise. Perhaps like the migrating finch that stunned itself against our window, we had misjudged the distance between ourselves and the void.
Se me fue, bendito se me fue la mujer patrapana. yo. During my last visit to Brooklyn, I found nothing where I left it. New Brooklyn doesn't stay still like it used to. They call it growth. Mommy calls it eviction. She says she's tired of the way the gringos keep turning her bodegas into gardens. She says flowers remind her of funerals. Remind her of the way everything around her is dying. I say, Mommy, maybe you feel better if we sit on the steps of the building that you raised us in. I say this as if the stoop is an open mouth. As if it will remember how we taste. As if it will not spit us back out for being bitter or worse, for having too much flavor. I changed the subject. Mommy, I got the job I always wanted. She hears I got the job she never had, and she reminds me that my only job is to keep myself off a government payroll. I laugh, and I worry more about keeping my body off these gentrified streets, cause these new art galleries on the block, yo, they wanna call my stretch marks abstract, when in reality, they are the strings of a harp and the tag name of God. I am a black book. I am an untuned instrument. I am one part graffiti and one part music today. I looked at the way my bones work like machinery. It is almost as if I was born in a factory. You know, the kind of factories that Mommy used to work in, with the sewing machines and the severe workplace violations. You know the type. Or maybe you wouldn't know the type because they have nice windows now and paint, real paint, not the blood kind. It worries me that there are words the thesaurus does not pair properly with other words, like the way gentrification could be paired with colonization. I'm sorry, I sound angry all the time now. Really, I'm just loud. Like, I don't know how to talk without sounding like a revolution, like my throat is a boombox and Black Party. I argue like an unraveled cassette tape, and maybe I would sound a little bit more like music if I was wound up a little bit more tightly. But in New Brooklyn, they don't care nothing about my music. Yo, I heard they tried to take down the Avenue of Puerto Rico street sign. You know, the one on Graham? The one they pronounce Graham? The one that's been there for 33 years before they tried to take it down, which is ironically the stated age Jesus died. And I'm not religious, but why they always trying to kill holy things these days? They said there wasn't enough Puerto Ricans there these days. Pretend they can't hear the sofrito, can't smell the sofrito in the air, can't hear the salsa blaring from a third floor window when a Latino's cleaning their house like, se me fue, bendito se me fue la mujer pa Nueva York. Mommy said they're gonna act like they can't hear you. And that's when you make them feel you and you vibrate like you trying to break a sound barrier or stereotype or something, and you tell New Brooklyn that if they're trying to clean our house, they will always hear our music in the background.
Woo! Woo!
Spring. As you breathe in this new life, I promise to do the same. Awakening the you in my step has sprung chrysanthemum, garland, fields, yield growth. Once again, a chance to dance in poppies, crop topped and stop to smell the roses begin again. Poses for photos as the grass turns green and the bird songs sing. The bees pollinate floral beds clean. Aurora sheen, seen, skin glistened as rain showered, cried tears joyed. As this resurrection is always miracled, no matter third day. As this resurrection is always miracled, no matter third day. And every Friday is a good one once you've arrived. No, and I am not your chicken. I'm not. But I can still find joy in now hunting, now rather hiding your coin in cash-filled eggs, as that's how things are done in my family Italian. Now pass over, the joys full of you, for the 4th season was a harsh one, reminding us too that all too will soon bloom again. Revel in this revivified awakening. 4 seasons, 4 seasons, 4 seasons, 4. 4 seasons of 4 seasons of 4 seasons of 4 seasons of 4.
American sonnet for my past and future assassin. I lock you in an American sonnet that is part prison, part panic closet. A little room in a house set aflame. I lock you in a form that is part music box, part meat grinder to separate the song of the bird from the bone. I lock your persona in a dream-inducing sleeper hold while your better selves watch from the bleachers. I make you both gem and crow here. As the crow, you undergo a beautiful catharsis trapped one night in the shadows of the gem. As the gem, the feel of crow shit dropping to your floors is not unlike the stars falling from the pep rally posters on your walls. I make you a box of darkness with a bird in its heart. Voltas of acoustics, instinct, and metaphor. It is not enough to love you. It is not enough to want you destroyed. Being of sword shaped like a silver tongue. Cauldron, siren, black as tarnation, black as the consciousness of a black president's wife, black as his black tie tuxedo beside his black wife in room after room of whiteness. My grandmother's name had water in it too, water maker. I have wept listening to Aretha Franklin sing Precious Lord. I have placed my thumb on the tongue of a black woman with an unbreakable voice. I love your mouth. Floodgate, storm door. You are black as the gap in Baldwin's teeth. You are black as a Baldwin speech. I love how your blackness leaves them in the dark. I love how even your soundbite leaves a mark.
Yeah.
Overaged, overgrave, overlooked brother seeks adjoining female structure covered in chocolate, cinnamon, molasses, freckled, sandy or sunset-colored flesh, expressively motored by a blend of intellectual fat and muscle, while several complex and simple emotional frequencies pulse along her veins. Must be a careful and moderately self-indulgent cinematographer, modestly self-conscious, reasonably self-important, spiritually self-educated, marginally self-destructive. Must be willing to raise orchids or kids in a land of assassins, willing to wield a fluid expression in the war her lover wages against himself, and a silver tongue in the war we wage against death.